What the is going on? I don't like this. It's annoying. That's nice. Why do we need this? This is amazing, guys. Please, FabFilter, change it. Pro Q4. Is it really worth it? We don't need this. This is really amazing. I don't like it. And this is pretty awesome. This is just amazing. Well, this was me 2 weeks after FabFilter launched Pro Q4, doing a super detailed and honest review about the new plugin. And as you could maybe see and hear, sometimes I was really upset. But let's start at the beginning. Hello, lovely people. FabFilter Pro Q4 was launched end of 2024 and there was a big hype, and I was hyped too, yes, because I think so that Pro Q3 is, or maybe was, one of the greatest equalizers out there on the market. So I dived into the new functions of Pro Q4, and honestly, I was wondering, is it really worth it? Or is it just some bull marketing? And don't get me wrong, marketing is super important. We all need to sell our products. Honestly, that's also what I'm doing. I'm doing marketing for my URKLANG Academy, Academy for Professional Music Production for Electronic Dance Music, specialized in psychedelic music, Psytrance, and for me as an artist. But just as I want to provide you professional content, high quality content, I believe so that FabFilter, as one of the greatest companies out there for plugins, doesn't come up with pointless marketing ideas. So I dived more into this new Pro Q4 to understand why some functions are there and to show you how to use these perhaps seemingly unnecessary functions in a meaningful way. So I did another video. But that video was 2.5 hours long, and I thought, so nobody's watching a 2.5 hour long detailed video. So I did another video, but there I was interrupted. So the next day I did another video, and that was not my best day. And honestly, I don't want to spend hours on cutting a video. Now you might think, why does he tell us all this? Well, there is a reason, but I will explain this in a second. So here I am back again doing recording number 5, or maybe 238, who knows? Doing an honest review about the new FabFilter Pro Q4 and talk about, is it really worth it? Or can we maybe do this with other, also free plugins? So why did I tell you this story? I think so it is a great example and metaphor for how it is in life general, but also for us as artists and music producers, because it's all about trial and error and overcoming perfectionism. Perfectionism. You get it. It is all about repeating. It is all about repeating as long as we can achieve a certain goal. It's like a baby. No baby stands up and starts running a marathon. No. No baby speaks his first word and write a novel. No. They stand up, fall down, stand up, fall down, stand up, make a first step, fall down, and so on until they can walk, run, or maybe write a novel. So I can tell you guys, when you are watching this video now, and maybe you are friends or hello friends, but when you are watching this video and keep on watching this video, then you are already a professional music producer. It's already inside your soul because you are interested in learning new techniques and new stuffs about plugins or whatever. So you love something, you love art. Art is amazing. Art is healing, music is healing, art is healing and therapy for us, for other people. So keep on doing what you love, guys, until you achieve a certain goal where you are satisfied. But at the same time, maybe we are never satisfied. And this is the point where we need to overcome perfectionism. Because it is not that we produce a track, the next day we send it to a label, third day we send it to a master engineer, and the fourth day we release it. No. There is always a time in between where you produce a track and release it. And when we release it, say there are 6 months, something like this, and then we release a track, an album, an EP, whatever, then we look back and we say, oh, well, no, these drums were not good and this was not nice and this I would do better. And this is a good mindset because this means in the period in between production and releasing, you learned much more stuff. You implemented new techniques. So you leveled up. And this is, we're never kind of happy, but we need also to decide a certain point in a project, in a track, to finish it. Yeah, to say, okay, now the track is finished. Now I close this project and focus on the next one. Because when we don't do this, then we end up with 90 never releasing anything in life. So it is super important to overcome this perfectionism, to say, stop, this project is finished, this track is finished, I focus on the next project and keep on doing. And this is really important, guys. Keep on doing what you love. Keep on doing, overcome frustrations, overcome this perfectionism, and keep on learning and keep on leveling up. Keep on doing what you love. Okay. And now let's dive into Pro Q4. Is it really worth it? So this is the new Pro Q4, the new interface. In comparison, this is the Pro Q3, the old one, and I think so already, yes, it looks better. Let's start with the band control. We have here these slopes which we already had before, like a bell, a low shelf, high shelf, and so on. But now we have, and this is, yes, this is already amazing. We have an all-pass filter. So we know there is a low cut or high pass filter, which means only the highs will pass through, or vice versa, a high cut or low pass filter, only the lows pass through. So what is an all pass filter? All frequencies can pass through? Doesn't make sense, isn't it? No. An all pass filter is an amazing feature. It means that we can invert phases. How can we use this? For example, with kick and bass, for having a perfect phase alignment for kick and bass. So let's have a look at this kick and bass. On the scope, you can see this is an offbeat bass line. Okay, maybe we don't need to play around with the phases. But what's about a bass line like this? We can see we have here maybe some phasing issues. Now with the all-pass filter, I can go here and go to a specific frequency, play around with the Q, and then the phase of the bass line is changing. So this now looks much better than before. There are maybe some free all-pass filters out there. I don't know any, honestly. What I'm using many times is kilohertz disperser, which is amazing. It's also an all-pass filter, so it also inverts the phases, but it has a different sound and it is not free. Also, with the disperser, I only have the possibility here to tweak one frequency and invert starting from a specific frequency. With the Pro Q4, I can now also create different all-pass filters if I need this. So this is already great. Talking about the band control, we have here now different slopes or different steepness for the slope. Starting at 0 dB, okay, this is flat, doesn't make sense, but 6, 12, 18, and so on, till 96, and of course the brick wall. In Pro Q3, we had only here, you can see 12, 24, and so on, sometimes also 6, depends on which slope we choose. What's also nice is that when we have opened up here this drop-down menu, then we can, with the mouse control, you can see, choose a steepness in between. So for example, between 30 and 36. So this is really, really nice to have much more control. Also, we can hover here over this dot and just with the mouse, I'm using a trackpad, so with 2 fingers, or you use the mouse wheel, you can change this. This is nothing new, but what's new is that I can hover with the mouse now over either the frequency or the note here, and with the 2 fingers or the mouse wheel, I can change here the frequency. Before in Pro Q3, I couldn't do this here. I needed to grab this and change it, and then maybe you can see I changed here also the Q because I was not that precise. By the way, what's really nice, but this is also nothing new, you can go here inside, type in, for example, C3, enter, kaboom, and it is here on the frequency of C3. So what's also new in Pro Q4 is when you hover with your mouse over the frequency spectrum, you can see there is a gray little bit dotted line here, which tells us which slope we can create. So click once and kaboom, here we are, a bell, or here a low shelf. And Pro Q4, it's all about a faster workflow. And this is amazing, yes, because it is all about workflow. It's also something I always tell my students, a slow workflow kills our creativity. So why setting up specific chains or templates every time from scratch when we use them for every project? Also, long loading times or crashing doors or whatever, it kills our creativity. Pro Q4, it's all about a faster workflow. This is amazing, but I can tell you this new feature here is so annoying. I really don't like it. Why? Because it can be that maybe you've created here a specific frequency treatment, and then you're working on your project and whatever happens, and you go here and suddenly you click somewhere and you don't realize it, and there is a band created. And you will see later on in the video how this can be much more annoying. So this is a feature. So in comparison in Pro Q3, we needed to double click. And here we go. Then I have a specific band. That's nice. I can click once here how many times I like, nothing is doing. But here, kaboom, 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 clicking once and you have it. And I really don't like it. What I would love to have is the possibility to this and enable this in a setting here somewhere. You will see later on how this new feature can distract our work and how it can ruin sometimes some channels and some sounds. When we also talk about the bands here, there's another thing I don't understand and I really don't like. Say we have here now a low cut. Here in this region, this is the intro, and here the drop, the kick and bass starts. So what I want to achieve is something like that I have here in the intro a lower low cut, and as soon as the kick for this sound here and as soon as the drop is, the kick and bass is playing, of course I need a higher low cut and low cut the lower frequencies because only kick and bass is playing. So I'm going here, grab the frequency, and let's do something like this. And you can see here and here, it's nice. We can see we have here now a low cut on 34 Hertz, and here it is 151 Hertz. Nice. But, and I just duplicated this channel here as an audio. Let's do the same here. And now you can see there are no Hertz anymore. There are random numbers, and I don't get it. And this is not because I bounced here this MIDI channel into an audio. No, for so many times it is, let's go here randomly to another channel. Let's see how it is here. Frequency, also a number. I don't get it. I thought so maybe it is an issue of Ableton, but I compared it in Bitwig and it's the same. In Bitwig we have percentages. Here sometimes I have random numbers and sometimes it is working with the frequency like here. We need this FabFilter. I don't need a random number, which is honestly also not there. So this number here, 5.78, is not here. This annoys me a lot, honestly. Let's talk about one of the greatest new implementations in Pro Q4, and this is the Dynamic EQ. This is nothing new, no. But what we have now, and this is really nice, we have now attack and release control. Honestly, I don't understand why it wasn't implemented already in Pro Q3. The thing I don't understand is we have this in percentages. What I need or what we want is milliseconds. So compare it with another great plugin, the Nova from Tokyo Dawn Records. Here we could do this already. Dynamic EQ with a threshold, and here we have attack and release control, also a ratio, which by the way I miss in Pro Q4, and a threshold. Here in Pro Q4 we also have here the threshold. When it's all the way up, you can read here it's A for automatic. As soon as I tweak it, I have a threshold control. And I have attack and release, but in percentages. I don't get it. Why? Another comparison in Kirchhoff. This is not free, but here we also have the possibility to play around with attack and release. So now as we have here these two equalizers, let's compare them a little bit. Nova from TDR is amazing. It's free, download it. I absolutely can recommend this. The great thing about this, we have here a range up to 40K. In Pro Q4, it is a maximum of 30K. And yes, we can't hear, our human ears can't hear anything above 20K or below 20 Hertz, but still these frequencies are affecting our overall mixdown. Here we only have 4 bands. In Pro Q4, we can have up to 24 bands. So this is also really great. And in Nova, we only have downward compression with a dynamic EQ. In Pro Q4, we have downward and upward compression. But still, Nova is great. I can recommend it. Another new implementation with the dynamic EQ is that we can change now from band to free. So now this band here is created and I can hover this over a specific frequency, which means that this frequency now is affecting this dynamic EQ frequency. Great. How to use this? This technique is only for mixdown or mastering, so I don't use it for production, but say you have your final mixdown and you want to enhance the transients of your kick. So now I can go here over the area where the transients for the kick are. I make this dynamic. I create a free band, hover this over the punchy area, which is around 60 Hertz. And now this area, as soon the kick is played, affects this one. Here I can also play around with the attack and release. This is great. This is amazing. Another technique how to use this is, say we have here on a specific frequency, dynamic EQ. I create now here a free band, hover this over a lower frequency with the goal that as soon as this frequency is played, I want to, for example, enhance this frequency area or maybe cut this frequency area, however you like it. By the way, know your shortcuts. So with Shift and Option, you can create a dynamic EQ. And with Command, you can change the gain of this band. More about the dynamic EQ and this little nice spectral button I will explain later on. But now let's talk about this little pencil tool. And honestly, in the beginning, I was like, we don't need this. It's just a marketing gag. What can we do with this? We can draw in here a frequency, different bands. And I was like, why do we need this? This is really just marketing. But then I realized something and I figured it out how we maybe can use this as a nice tool. So say we have this sound here. This, by the way, is also a new implementation in Pro Q4. We can freeze now this frequency. Amazing, really nice. So now I have this frequency spectrum here, and now I can go here and start drawing. But here you really need to be in a calm and kind of meditative state of mind, because you can see it's not, we need time to do this exact or to, draw in something, a shape like this. Okay, Nice. Then, of course, we can go here and do some detail changes. Now I have the spectrum of this sound. I can here now select all, right-click copy, and maybe go into another channel. Here, open another Pro Q4, right-click, paste, and here I have this as a reference. Nice. Why not? So I can do the same shape for another Pro Q4. Yeah, why not? This is honestly the only way I figured out how to use this drawing, this pencil drawing feature. And to talk a little bit more about this, what I don't like is, say we have this frequency now, I want to continue drawing something, I click on it, boom, it is gone. So what would be nice is that as soon as I click on it, I can draw something more. But I like this feature because it is, I think, so the first time that a plugin and a company implemented such a possibility. And sometimes, for example, in Serum, I would love to have a drawing pencil for the LFOs. So maybe other companies will jump on this and create also an option like a pencil tool. And as I said, I don't know if there are other possibilities. Give me some examples, write in the comment how you use this pencil, because I would never do something like this or draw in and I want to have a shape like this for this equalizer, for this sound here. Let's talk about another new feature in Pro Q4, which I really love, and this is this little button here, saturation button. We have here now, okay, clean is the clean sound. We have here now the possibility to add a subtle or a warm saturation. And this one is really nice. So let's have a listen, and I will do this like that one here is clean. Go here to AB, B, and do a subtle saturation. Let's have a listen. Comparison to clean. Yes, that's already nice, but I love the warm one. So let's have a comparison with that one. This is warm, A is clean. Okay, warm. Oh yeah. You could hear subtle, but still there, and sometimes it's more, sometimes it's not that obvious, but there is a warm saturation in it, and I can tell you I really love this one. Oh yeah, warm saturation inside. So big ups for that one. Yes, there are free alternatives. Of course, we have something like a Saturn 2 where we can dive into really deep and saturate a sound with 6 bands here and much more control. So this is just a basic implementation of saturation. We have here, which is nice one from Softtube, the saturation knob. This is free. We have here 3 different types: keep high, neutral, and keep low. We have here 4 ABCD comparison slots, which are also nice, and here a range for the saturation. This is a free alternative. And of course, there are other plugins like the Vertigo VSM Free. This is a saturation distortion plugin, really nice one. And of course, the distortion plugin from Arturia, which I absolutely love, the Dist Cold Fire. So guys, by the way, if you want to have more detailed about specific plugins, write in the comment which one I should show you and go in deep and do a review about a specific plugin. But the Pro Q4 is an equalizer and no saturation plugin, but it is nice to have at least here 2 possibilities. What I would love to have here is a little bit more control. So either a wet-dry mix button for it, how much I want to implement and enhance frequencies and implement saturation, and maybe also what would be nice to have a basic frequency control about the saturation. And before I dive deeper into dynamic EQ, here is another nice feature. We have here the instant list. And this one is really great because now we see all Pro Q4s from each channel and we can compare them. What annoys me a little bit is here we have the list and you can see I have a lot of channels and I use Pro Q4 for every channel, but I don't get it. This list is absolutely random. And when we go to another Pro Q4, let's open that one here and the instance list here, you can see here are the other plugins. So not all plugins are listed here. In the beginning, I was like, okay, maybe there is like a limit, for example, 100 plugins, which can be shown up here, because as you can see, I have here, for example, 119 channels. But have a detailed look. So this is from channel 1 down to channel 106. And it seems to be in a row from 106 here in the next plugin 107, 8, 10. Okay, where is 9? I don't know. 11, 13, and then suddenly jumps again to 53, 55. Okay, let's go here. Oh, 54 is here. I don't get it. So this is kind of chaotic. What I would love to have is a detailed control about which plugins show up. I can close up this list, yes, but there is no possibility to change the plugins, to change the row. Can also not grab one and no, not. So this I don't get. And this is also when we dive into here, the EQ, for example, and then implement here a sidechain input, which is, by the way, nice because we have here now a reference. And I can go here now, for example, and say, let's choose. And you can see this list is also kind of absolutely random. But let's choose, for example, the vocal bus. And now I see here the red one is the vocal bus. And before we needed to go here to the sidechain input and you could see this. Suddenly I just clicked here and this band was created. And this is something and this is something that annoys me really a lot. I don't like this. So now we can go here inside and choose immediately a specific channel to have as a reference value here. Nice one. So now with this instance list here, we can compare different channels and make tweaks here in the different EQs. So let's say we compare now this pad sound with this vocal sound here, channel 114 with channel 116. And what we also have is we have here a nice, the red one, also already activated a collision button. So now I say, well, let's do the other way around. Let's go to the vocal channel. Let's do here the instance list. This is now my vocal channel. And I say I activate here the collision button. And I say this is my main channel. And the other one, the pad sound, is my side sound. Now I can press play. And I see here red areas, which tells me these are maybe frequency masking areas and problematic areas. So when you're not sure about two channels and they are maybe fighting with each other, then you can use this option here as a reference. Now I can go into this channel, EQ of the channel 114, and make here some adjustments. I also can make it dynamic. I can't control the attack and release here, so therefore I need to go into the channel itself and have a, oh, wrong one, sorry, and have a more detailed control. But you can see what I'm changing here also change in the other one. I have here an undo button and oh, again it happens. By accident, I clicked here and suddenly I created here a bell in this channel. And what can happen is that I don't realize this. So because I'm working, I'm looking here, I'm by accident clicking there, and suddenly I create some bands which I don't want to have, and maybe they destroy our sound, and that's not nice. Also, when I'm in this view here, you can see this, what happens. I, by accident, changed here. I just wanted to scroll up and down, but the mouse was for a short time over the hertz, the frequency number here, and I changed here this bell. So advantages and disadvantages, but what I really don't like is this function, as I said, by creating just with one click slope. And I talked about, in the beginning, I talked about the EQ match, because in Pro Q3 we had here the possibility to EQ match, but then in Pro Q4, oh, it's not there, and I was really upset because I love this function. Now we need to open the instance list and here open EQ match. So I can go now to this channel here, click EQ match. I can put in now here the reference, say either you have it here inside this list, which would be the channel 117, that one. No, sorry, 116. Be sure, and by default it's always on red, this record button, but be sure that it is not on pause. And then I can press play. Here now the frequencies from this channel 116 are shown. Then I can press match. Now we have the possibility to change the numbers of bands from 0, which doesn't make sense because then there are no bands, up to 24. By the way, what I would love to have here is not only changing the numbers of the bands, but also for specific frequencies. Because I maybe now need here this area, the low mid area, and I want to decide maybe only for this area here to have more or less numbers of bands. So this would be nice. Let's go with all the way up to 24, press finish, and then kaboom, here we have it. And now I can go into this channel. My workaround is that I grab all the ones which are in the above 0 dB range, bring them down to -0 dB, select them all, make out of them bells. So we can now tweak the Q, the quadrant, and make them maybe not that much gain reduction, but like this, and make them dynamic. Maybe these ones I don't need. Then I'm also in this channel here. I choose now a reference input from the channel 116. Where is it? All the way down here, 116. Now I have the sidechain input from the vocal, which means as soon as the vocal is played, it affects these frequencies. Maybe that one we don't need because we do a low cut for, oh, what's happening here? Yeah, this can be then annoying. Here is the low cut like this. And now we can play around with, select them all again, with the dynamic EQ, with the attack, the release, and the threshold. So this is a workaround which I really love, and I know now the EQ match is here inside the instance list. And with this technique, I now make space for the vocals. And as soon as the vocals are played, I cut out specific frequencies from the vocals inside this pad sound. Important for this technique is when you use a sidechain input that you need to activate this little button. By default, it is white, and you need to activate the sidechain input button. Additionally, by the way, we can go here and choose also this channel 116, and then we also see the red spectrum from the other channel. This can help as a reference, value as a reference, and this I really like. You can also go to sidechain input here. And this is all about fast workflow. Alternatively, you can, of course, for example, in Ableton, use something like an envelope follower and an EQ8. Nice about the envelope follower since Ableton 12 is now we can put it inside the channel itself. Before we had to put it, for example, here on the pad sound. Now I can put it inside this channel, activate here the sidechain input, choose here, I choose now the pad bus, the pad sound, then map here. Let's say we do this band here, map here the gain, go to remote, then you can see what's happening. So dial in 50%, so it's on 0 dB, and here, let's start with 0%. And then you already can see it's tweaking a little bit from the sidechain input. This band here, I can play around now with the gain, also with rise, fall, and delay. So now when I know which frequencies I want to damp, then I can do this for more frequencies here. Let's open up this one here, map from this band here, the gain, remote, 50 to 0, change the Q here. And here we go. This is a free alternative way to use stock plugins. But honestly, with the Pro Q4, you have much more control. And last but not least, talk now about this new spectral button, which is amazing. I'm here now on my kind of pre-mix, pre-master channel. Let's only activate kick and bass and drums. And let's have a look what we can do with the spectral button here. Let's deactivate it. Then it cuts out specific frequencies. What we also can do, of course, we can enhance specific frequencies. This is for this reason too much. So let's do it like this. Open this little button here, this arrow, and we have here now something like a density. So we have a control how sharp these cuts are. All the way to the left more flat, all the way to the right more sharper. We can of course play around with attack and release and with the threshold here. But be careful with the spectral button. Sometimes it's super useful, sometimes it can destroy a sound. So sometimes it's important to have it off and have a normal band EQ, dynamic EQ band. And another possibility how you can use this, let's open up Oak Sounds Soothy 2. Maybe you know it. It's a really nice plugin. It's a deharsher, de-esser. You can do the same or the other way around. Now with Pro Q4, we can do nearly the same like Soothy can do. We have here a depth control, sharpness, and selectivity. We have attack and release time. We have a mix button here and control about bands. But we only have here 6 bands. So this is an advantage of Pro Q4. We can create 24 bands if we need it. Let's have a listen here. This is what Soothy cuts out. Great plugin, but not free. This is not a free alternative. Now with Pro Q4, we can do nearly the same, and this is amazing. This is great. So we can create here different bands, for example, and make them dynamic, enhance them, make them more dynamic. Activate the spectral button, open here this arrow, play around with the density, attack, release, and the threshold. And what we can do now is do, for example, drastic treatments of this and then play around with the wet dry button here. You can see here we have here a bypass button too. So this new spectral button is also really, really nice. But as I said, don't overdo it. Be careful what you're doing. A nice technique, what I like to do is, for example, create a high shelf filter, put it onto the sides, create a dynamic EQ, activate here the spectral button, and then you can control the side signal and the sharpness of the side signal. Yes, I love it. So let's quickly recap Pro Q4's new features. We have now more slopes here with a detailed in-between range. We have here the all-pass filter, both options really nice. I love the option, the all-pass filter. We have much more control now over your dynamic EQ, which is amazing. I would love to have more control about a ratio maybe. And here we have the change. You can change from band to free. This option, super, super, super nice. Really, I love it. I don't like why we have here percentages and not milliseconds. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but okay. We have this new function here with creating with one-click slopes. As I said, it's annoying. I really don't like it. This is something this is something I really don't like. Really, this I would love to have the possibility to un and disable this function how I like it and how I need it. We have here a freeze button, which is awesome. I use this a lot, so this is really nice. Also here the possibility now to not really sidechain, but bring in a different channel and see what's going on. We have here this new pencil tool, which I explained it. I don't use it like this, and maybe really we don't need it like this, but when you have a sound, then you can recreate this frequency spectrum and copy it to another Pro Q4, and maybe this is a workaround which is nice and we can use it. We have the instance list, which is great. I don't understand here this random chaotic structure. It would be really nice to have here much more control and to drag and drop these EQs how we need it. Also here this collision button is nice to have maybe a visual reference for frequency maskings when sounds are fighting. We have here inside now the EQ match. Great, okay. As I have explained you, we have here this little, I don't know, bug or whatever. Sometimes it shows up in frequencies when I make automations, and sometimes there are random numbers and values shown up. I don't get it why, and this is also something which annoys me because I want to and we need this to dial in and automate specific frequencies and not random numbers. What's also nice is when you have different bands here, you have here the control and change between the bands. So it's all about workflow, and this is what makes Pro Q4 really special. The workflow is much faster. It's all about workflow and our creativity. So overall, I can tell you, except of this 2 or 3 little really annoying features, all the other new features are really amazing. I think so there are not really free alternatives, or there are, but the workaround and the workflow is much more complicated and not that fast and easy. So I can say the upgrade, it is absolutely worth it. Pro Q4 for me, the greatest equalizer out there on the market. All right, I hope you liked this video. Please like the video, subscribe, follow, hit the bell button. You know how this is working. The more support I receive, the more videos I can do. Also follow me on Instagram there. You can find a lot more tutorials about Ableton and Serum and so on. And please write in the comments which plugins you would love to have a review and a detailed overlook. And there are already some really great plugins, which I will explain and show you in the next weeks and month. But I love to have your opinion, also your opinion about the Pro Q4, and let me know which plugin I should review the next time. Have a wonderful day. Keep on doing what you love and stay musically. Boom, boom. FabFilter 4. Perfectionism. 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 Well, you get it. 238. Hm, na. Das war eigentlich schon gut. Wieso verspreche ich mich so oft? Ah, Perfectionism.